Director's take, addressing unapproved peripherals on consoles. Oh, is it time? Hey everyone, senior game producer Adam Mazey and lead gameplay engineer Daniel Raza here, subbing in for Aaron this week. We're going to share some updates on fair play for console players in Overwatch 2 regarding the issue of unapproved peripherals. Holy shit, have they finally done it? What are unapproved peripherals? Our goal is for Overwatch 2 to be a great experience no matter what platform you play on. The game feels best when matches are close and competitive, and everyone plays on the same playing field. To help achieve this, we've tailored the game experience on console by adding console-specific features such as aim assist, which helps brings the difference in precision of aim between a mouse and controller. That is true, and I just want to say one last time before we go any further, because I have a good feeling about this one. Just saying, we should always still keep PC, mouse and keyboard, and controller separate. It is literally impossible to balance. I'm not saying aim assist shouldn't exist, but it's literally impossible to balance the two. Let each one stay in their own areas for ranked. Quick play, arcade, playing with your friends, no problem, that's fine. But in a ranked environment, it is impossible. And games like Call of Duty, games like Apex have proved it in how one side becomes more oppressed than the other. For a long time in the beginning, it was mouse and keyboard was better than controller, and then aim assist and controller took off, and now every player and every pro plays on controller. In mouse and keyboard, you legitimately can't play the input. You just are at a huge disadvantage. So, doing a great job, Overwatch. Please continue to keep controller and mouse and keyboard separate. That way everybody's happy. You guys are doing great on that. Honestly, one of the only games in the industry that I think does it right. Unfortunately, some players on console have been using devices that allow them to use a mouse and keyboard while tricking the console into thinking that the inputs are coming from a controller. While some use different peripherals for accessibility purposes, some players are taking advantage of aim assist while using peripherals that were never intended to benefit from this feature. For our purposes, we call those devices unapproved peripherals, aka XIMs. And if you don't know me, I was a console R6 pro player in 2015, when it was year one. And the reason why console professional play died was because everyone started cheating and using mouse and keyboard XIMs. Siege did not have aim assist, so you didn't have the advantage of controller having even a chance to fight back. But the movement of mouse and keyboard was insane. It was the first time I'd ever experienced playing against mouse and keyboard at that time. Ruined many people's careers, and it was really sad. So I have a personal, very big disdain for for XIMs. So I'm on your side on this one. That's why when I'm saying keep them, keep controller, mouse, and keyboard separate, I know how it can be. Today, we're going to look at how we detect the use of unapproved peripherals, and the action we're going to take to level the playing field for all players. Detecting unapproved peripherals. Figuring out players using unapproved peripherals has been a challenge for us to overcome. These devices are designed in such a way that consoles are unaware of them and often have anti-detection features designed to make them even more elusive to catch. We have been carefully studying these devices to ensure we have high confidence in our ability to detect who is using them. While we won't go into any specific details on exactly how we detect these devices, makes sense, fog of war is very important in these types of matters, we can say that our detection has already been in place for multiple seasons, passively gathering data for us to analyze. Holy shit. Now that we have gathered the data we need, we can finally talk about how we plan to deal with the use of these unapproved peripherals. Dude, who's got the clip of Pirate Software talking about cheating with this? So in hacker hunting, like hunting for hackers in games, one of the big things they do is when they detect and they figure out that they figured out how they detect a cheat program, they wait 3 to 6 months before they start banning. And the reason for that is because there's constant updates to the cheat software, but they've already detected it. They already know it's there. And so they wait 6 months or so and then boom, and hit everybody at once. So two things happen. One, you have waves of people that go back to the cheat developer and are like, give me my money back. I got banned, fuck you. So they get overwhelmed. And two, the cheat developer doesn't know what patch that they put out that put them, that got them discovered. It's a fog of war of they don't know where. So the fact that they're coming out and saying oh yeah, we've known this for a long time, they're probably giga confident that they're oh yeah, we know. We know where it is, and that you can't fix. You're f***ed now. That's awesome. Based on our data from the past few seasons, usage of unapproved peripherals is highly apparent in high-ranked play. Everyone's known this. This has been an open secret for years, especially console players. Console players come on my channel all the time, and they're like, console's unplayable past like mid to high diamond, because it's all mouse and keyboard XIM players. Typically at Grandmaster or Champion rank being the highest, while the usage of unapproved peripherals between bronze and platinum ranks was very rare. So, like I said, diamond, mid diamond and above. But obviously at the highest level is the most. For this reason, the action we take will be primarily targeted to help ensure fair play at the higher ranks. A quick disclaimer on users with accessibility needs. It is important to us that Overwatch 2 be accessible to many players as possible, and we want to recognize that for a few players. The use of unapproved peripherals may be a necessary component of their controller setup. We have done our utmost to ensure that players with accessibility needs will be less likely to trigger our detection. If a player with accessibility needs is detected, we have tailored our actions so that these players will be able to continue playing Overwatch 2. I'm guessing this is for people like, I remember a TikTok of the guy who he has like a mouthpiece, and when he blows into the mouthpiece, like does certain things. I'm assuming it's stuff like that that it'll be able to pick up on. Removing unapproved peripherals from competitive play. Starting in Season 11, next season, players who are detected using an unapproved peripheral on a console will be actioned in 2 phases. The first time a player is detected, they will be restricted from competitive on console for 1 week. Players will still have access to quick play during this time, and if they cease using the unapproved peripheral, the restriction will eventually expire, and they will be able to resume playing competitive. Yo, maybe it's just me, but I feel like y'all are being way too lenient. I would have fucking hit him like a truck. However, if the use of the unapproved peripheral continues, not only will the player be restricted from competitive on console, but they will be forced to play on with other mouse and keyboard players when playing in quick play for the entire season. Additionally, these players will no longer have access to the aim assist feature. They are welcome to continue playing Overwatch 2, but they will be playing against players who use a similar control setup to their own. Wait, what? Wait, what? That's actually kind of funny. Yeah, and you can't leave more than 2 quick play games. Get absolutely f***ed. Wow, Zim jail apparently is going to be fucking real. That's hilarious. Yeah, shadow ban lobbies like Call of Duty. That's actually kind of hilarious. I respect that. Taking immediate action. Like, okay, they're going to talk about it right now, because I was going to say Season 11 is pretty far. You're giving them time to like gear up. What about the use of unapproved peripherals before Season 11? Over the next few weeks, there will be permanent account bans. Oh, okay. Against players who are the most severe abusers of unapproved peripherals. These actions will target towards high-ranked players who have been reported by others and who our data clearly shows are using an unapproved peripheral. Oh my goodness. A reminder that per our Blizzard Code of Conduct, automating any facet. Never mind. Any facet of the game or engaging in any activity that grants an unfair advantage is considered cheating. For console players using these unapproved peripherals who do not want their account banned, the only way to evade these bans is to cease using an unapproved peripheral right now. There will be no other warnings. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is okay. You know what? I was gonna be a little bit critical of this. Like, I think you guys are being too lenient, giving them a head start. Never mind. The future of mouse and keyboard for console. We recognize that many players use unapproved peripherals to enable input devices they simply prefer overall. So we have started discussing whether we can add official mouse and keyboard support to consoles in a way that doesn't give these players an unfair advantage over their controller counterparts. I don't know about that one, Chief. Right now, for competitive, console players play in a separate pool from PC. So in order to allow console players who would like to use a mouse and keyboard legitimately, we would like to make sure they would be able to play in competitive matches only with other mouse and keyboard users without the benefit of aim assist. Oh, wait. So they would be in PC pools? Well, I have feelings about this, and they're both good and bad. The good is that you have more players playing in the pool, and if people truly want to just play mouse and keyboard on a console, they can still play with PC players mouse and keyboard. Technically they're going to be at a disadvantage because they have a smaller FOV. Like, that way you don't have to worry that you don't have as good of a PC as other people. You can still make it work with a console. However, though, and I literally mean this with love, and if you know this doesn't apply to you, you shouldn't say anything, because you know it doesn't apply to you, and you know I'm not talking to you. But there are some absolute fucking degenerates on console. Every time any PC event involves the console players, they fucking ruin it. And I know that PC gamer culture is very different from console gamer culture. I know this as someone who has experience with both. Console gaming culture is extremely toxic. It's extremely annoying. And things like very hard slurs, like we're talking like full racism, hard R, full on homophobic slurs are like handed out like candy, as opposed to on PC when that is typically more restricted for the worst of our players. The most toxic PC players typically just flame you, tell you suck, you know, make fun of you, say you're fucking shit, teabag you, GGEZ, the whole word, like the whole thing. Very different level of toxicity, very different levels of people being casual and people other things. And if I'm completely honest, I kind of don't want to deal with them. I just don't. I actually kind of enjoy what it is. You're generalizing so hard. Like I just said at the beginning of this rant, if it doesn't apply to you, you know that it doesn't apply to you. You probably shouldn't say anything because you know I'm not speaking to you. But history has shown
4 months
in
time
every event we've ever had
flats.
in our community's history of Overwatch, when consoles get involved, it goes to shit so fast, and they are much more aggressive than every other group. That's just what we've seen in the past. That is literally just speaking from experience, and that's just speaking from what we've had to see and deal with. J3's tournament was a great example of it. You are correct, chat. J3's tournament was a great example. That being said, that's my personal feeling. Overall, though, if there was a way to make this work, where technically it's the exact same inputs, I guess there isn't anything to really complain about. But personally, I don't like it. Final thoughts. We are committed to making Overwatch 2 a fair game for everyone. Sorry, hang on. Let me go back. One final thought on this. One of the things too with this is I don't want to even open up the question of having console and PC ranked mixed. I think that both those platforms should stay separate. I think input should stay separate. Aim assist in gaming is versus mouse and keyboard in gaming is extremely hot topic, and I think a lot of people get very emotionally invested. But in my personal opinion, it is impossible to balance. Impossible. Controller needs aim assist. Controller as a function does not perform well without aim assist. Even at the top level. We're not even talking about versus PC. We're talking about just controller versus controller. If you don't have aim assist, you whiff so many shots, especially the average gamer. And I tell you this as a former pro console player who played a game with 0 aim assist. I tell you that even the best players of us at that time, not all of us were hitting every shot like every PC player at the top level. You need aim assist. So when you have a need for something like aim assist, you have to have the discussion that it is a legal cheat. It's a difference though when everyone's using the legal cheat together. That's fine. It's called aim assist. It's what it is. It's a built-in function. But once you start to have that versus people who don't have that assist, it legitimately cannot be balanced. It's not fair, period. because one side will have an advantage. If it's super weak aim assist, PC will dominate. If it's a strong aim assist, controller will dominate. That's what will happen. So keep them separate. I will not budge on that. Final thoughts. We're committed to making Overwatch 2 a fair game for everyone, regardless of what platform you play on or the input device you choose to use. These changes are a step in the direction of leveling the playing field for all players. We continue to evolve our detection and action against unapproved peripherals and other means of unfair play. Keep an eye out for our efforts in progressing in future Defense Matrix updates. Thanks for reading, and let's make a great game. This is probably one of the best updates that they've had in a long time, and probably the best thing for console I've ever seen. Sorry, console I've ever seen. Wow, massive W. I hope that it actually does have an impact. I hope that people start to feel the effects of this ASAP, because console has been struggling for a very, very long time, and let's get that shit cleaned up. So, gotta give them credit on that one. Let me know if you start noticing improvements in your games.